going on, guys? Nick here from Fueledbyforex, and I have some business updates for you in regards to April 2024, and we're going to be discussing some frequently asked questions, such as our profits so far, how the software works, and we're going to talk about some spooky stuff, such as risk management, broker updates, and then finally, we're going to discuss the future of Fueledbyforex. So if you have some time, stick around, and let's get into it. Starting off, let's discuss March and April's results. We have 2 years of consistent gains. So to better highlight that, we pull up the very first trading account that I ever launched this strategy on. And you can see pretty much April 11th, 2022 is when we first started taking trades here. And this was on a account that was 7 figures. We had a lot of room to make mistakes and figure everything out, make it a lot more smoother for what you basically get and see today. We had a total net profit of $950,000 on $1 million account, so basically double the account. And then that leads us to scaling down the account. We said, okay, let's do it again, but on a smaller balance, brought it down to 100K. That's the trade IDA. This is the myfxbook.com. You can just go to myfxbook.com/members/Fueledbyforex. It'll bring you to that page. But basically, story continues here, March 29th, 2023. About 6-8 months later, get to November 2023, same year, and the account doubles. Account doubles completely. So right in line with our projection of account doubling between 6 and 8 months. You're seeing roughly, 10% is the number I like to, base it off of. Golden ratio, basically 10% profit, no more than 30% drawdown, and you're going to double your account. Everything below that, guys, is the continuation of the story, right? Another software I have, the Medallion EA, been running since March 2023, just does its thing. And then you have all the clients who've connected and continued the story for us. So if we take a look at one of my clients, he is starting with 100K, he has pretty much doubled his account over the course of 4 months, January to April. All right, guys, so we're diving into the results here. We've had a very strong 2 months. March, we had about a 25% gain led by mainly gold, continued by all the other pairs that we trade. We're seeing the same thing happen in April with even more percentage gain. So very unusual results, but all thanks to really gold absolutely rallying. So if you go to MyFX book and you just scroll down a little bit, you'll find the Gold IDA, which is pretty much this test for smaller accounts for my gold software. See, in March, we did 28%, and April, we're at 32%. And we can just attribute that to just gold absolutely ripping. Longs won 90%, just because gold's been going straight up, straight line shorts. We actually lost a series of trades there, but I guess it didn't really matter. We had almost 70% gains. We have less than 5% drawdown, and life is good. Life is really good. Next, we're going to talk about how the software works. This is a very common question that I get. Ideally, you have 2 of the softwares. You either have the Trade Night and the Gold Night, or you have the Medallion and the Gold Night. And what this creates is a brother-sister algorithm setup. And what that means is that the softwares help each other. They don't interfere with each other. And from forward testing and back testing, I've actually seen that it helps reduce your drawdown over the long term, as well as increase your profits. And the reason for that is because both these softwares are volatility driven. So if there's volatility in the markets, and for some reason one of the softwares caught in drawdown, the other one will kind of help support it with profits. So if you're caught in drawdown on the Trade Night or Medallion, the Gold Night will be there to catch a big trade on gold and dump a bunch of profits in your account to kind of balance you out. So remember that in the best case scenario, you're running basically a combination of one of the softwares. Which brings me to the next part, which is kind of like how each software itself works. And we're going to start off with the Gold IDA. And if you don't know anything about it, it's actually a multi-strategy gold breakout system. It's basically looking for moves for new highs or new lows on gold based on those quick moves. It would basically risking 1 to 2% risk per trade, around 5% per series of trades. So say all your trades were to hit stop loss, you'd probably lose about 5% of your account. The max historical drawdown over the course of the entire history of gold since it's existed was 30%. And then, of course, the rewards, when you do catch those big moves, you can catch anywhere from 1% if you're near break even, or all the way up to 40% if, we've seen some of these gaps up from gold where it might go $50 to $100 in our way. Best thing about this software, there's no martingale. There's no grids. There's predefined stop loss and take profit. And basically, as gold consolidates, pending orders are placed all over your charts. Each order is its own unique strategy, its own algorithmic engine, where it kind of just does its thing versus all the other trades where it kind of breaks it up into different ones. So each one will be kind of interacting and operating differently. The take profits will be different. The stop losses will be different. Some will be more aggressive. Some will be more passive, all in a way to just capture as much profit on the way up or as much profit on the way down as possible. And the biggest thing is that risk decreases the moment those trades go into profit. So you're going to have trailing stop losses that are going to be chasing close to the price. You're going to have trailing stop losses that are chasing further away. It just depends on how price moves and how fast. Next up is the Trade Night and Medallion. They're both very similar softwares. They're volatility-based softwares, right? They're looking for those swift moves in the market. They're using stochastics. Stochastics is just a fancy way of using, a fancy way of saying a bundle of indicators, right? So that might be your RSI, your MACD, your moving averages, different indicators of that, just bundled together and kind of all showing the same signal and then causing the software to place a trade. Historically, biggest drawdown we've seen is just below 30%. Does use price averaging, but you would need hundreds of trades to reach that 30% drawdown. The best part about this software is the market can make huge moves against you. We're talking thousands of pips and you're still okay. You're still safe. You're not at 30% drawdown yet. It's not a true martingale or a true grid strategy because martingales typically, if you don't know anything about martingale software, it's usually got a shelf life, 3 to 6 months, then explodes. One big move against a grid or martingale pretty much puts you in a never-ending drawdown. And your account usually blows up within 20 to 30 to 40 trades at the most. Our trades are capped. Our price averaging is very, very efficient and very low. Like I said, a series of trades would need hundreds of trades to ramp up before it even brings you to, a 30% drawdown. Then on top of that, if the market does make a move against you, the software has a clever exit strategy where it starts to stack trades at the very top. And, say the market moves 3% against you, it could only take like 0.25% or 0.5% to get out with a big profit. Something that sets my software aside versus a lot of other softwares that you might find, might stack trades against a pair and have the move against it. And the take profit's really far away versus my software. It's able to rein in that take profit really close to price and get you out of that series of trades a lot faster. For risk management, we're looking to do 0.01 lots per every 5 to 10K in capital. I would say 5K is the risky point, 10K is like the bulletproof safe point, and 7.5 is kind of like teetering the line between the middle. It trades all normal Forex pairs. On the trade night, you're going to see 20 plus pairs traded. On the Medallion, it's around 6 to 10 pairs. Medallion's kind of like the little less aggressive, a little bit safer option. And the biggest thing here, guys, is that there's no machine learning AI or ChatGPT strategies in here. There's no buzzwords related to my software. It's just solid, proven trading strategies that have been automated. Now onto the scary stuff, guys. Risk management. We got to talk about it. It's an important conversation to have, right? Although, I have these proprietary systems that kind of monitor the markets in the background and they intervene when drawdown happens, it's very important that you guys are still be prepared for the worst, right? So from an automation perspective, if there is a 30% drawdown that happens on your account, further trading stops, right? Everything stops. This basically just gives you an opportunity to assess the situation, make some decisions, right? Your account can recover, and then you can decide what you want to do from there. You can add funds, you can close some of the bigger trades, you can continue trading and just resume auto trading, or you can close all your trades, right? And just like any venture out there, guys, losses do happen, but when you manage it right, it's part of the road of success. So my biggest mantra to any new trader or anybody trying to automate their strategies is focus all your interest on risk management, and the profits always come after. And just a couple key points to keep in mind, guys. Any money in the markets is money at risk. You can lose anything. Just make sure you're not investing more than you can afford. And once again, guys, I don't have any guarantees of success. My past results are not indicative of future performance. Obviously, we've been running great for 2 years. We're basically at 24 months, no losses. That doesn't mean that it'll run for the next 20 years with no bumps and bruises, right? And just remember, software is for educational purposes only. If you decide to connect to it, then that's your decision. And then also what comes along with that decision is your responsibility for the profit and the loss, right? It's not my responsibility, it is yours. And the biggest thing, guys, is that running at higher than recommended settings puts you at the highest risk. So just rein it in, tailor down your expectations. Know that 10% profit per month still doubles an account in 6 to 8 months, and that's more than enough for many people out there. And then as a last resort, guys, you can always change your trader password, and that will instantly disconnect you from the EA and it'll stop further trading. I also have some brokerage updates for you. As you know, regulation has been swift and moving quickly in the US. We've seen all prop firms go down, and it's impacted the associated white label brokers. So the brokers that were white labeling software, MetaQuote access to prop firms got toasted. And then we also have ripple effects, right, being felt by unassociated brokers. The biggest thing we're seeing right now is that MT4 app being lost. That has to do with the Russia-Ukraine tensions, as well as MetaQuote crackdowns. Many of you are familiar, LiquidFX recently lost the MT4 access to the mobile app. There are workarounds in place. I still feel that LiquidFX is going to be your best option when it comes to Forex trading, just because of the best trading conditions, the lowest trading fees overall. And one thing that I should note is that there are workarounds, right? You still have the web app, you still have connecting to your personal PC, and for the most part, clients are just using the MyFX book. And I do feel that other brokerages are currently unsafe for a variety of reasons. I won't go too deep into that right now, but maybe we'll touch on that later. And also another update on brokerages. I did get reached out to by ex-LiquidFX employees. They're doing like a soft launch of a new brokerage. They're brand new. I'm just kind of watching how they develop. I don't know if I want to actually go there or not. It's a brand new brokerage. There's not much out there about it at all. They do have the MT4 app, which is convenient, but it's kind of like it's an invite-only situation. And I was like selected, and they reached out to me, and I was on the phone with the guy, and I was like, "Do you still work at LiquidFX?" He's like, "No, this is a great opportunity. We had to move on. These guys, are going to offer you a great brokerage, blah, blah, blah." So no decisions yet. Not making any moves yet. I don't want to expose us to any unnecessary risk. I can't risk my reputation like that. And finally, guys, I'm just going to wrap it up by talking about the future of Fueledbyforex. Just note that I have no plans to stop this anytime soon. We're going to keep continuing to grow trading accounts. We're going to change brokerages if we need it. But for now, guys, I think the dust has settled. Everything is safe and it remains in place. The trading system, as is, proven itself as reliable. I only plan to make small tweaks at this point. Just going to keep being risk off, playing it safe. And the only thing that I will say is that I might be planning to potentially stop trading around the presidential elections this year, just to avoid any binary moves in the market. I'm not a big fan of election years. Happens, cyclically every 4 years, and sometimes it's best to just avoid those events. So I'll keep an eye out on that. I'll let you know if that becomes the case. From a business perspective, scaling plans are in the works. I am experiencing the most growth I've ever had client-wise, and soon I will eventually reach a capacity. Biggest thing there when I say capacity is that there might be a short period of time where I have to disable the ability for new clients to join, without you inviting them specifically, just so I can catch up with everybody. From a performance perspective, we have VPS updates. Everything that I have has been migrated to dedicated servers, which is much different than like a one that is just kind of held virtually. They're physical in nature. They have better performance and better uptimes. Little fun thing I'm looking to do is to make some apparel, such as shirts and hats. So if you're interested in that, soon will be available for purchase. So just reach out to me, get an order in for you. And then the biggest thing, guys, is just continuing to focus on transparency, making people feel like they're not just a number when compared to my competition. I want you all to feel individually, helped and supported, and not feel like you just have to like join a, like an office hour or be out on your own, essentially trying to figure things out. But thank you guys. Appreciate you sticking around, and cheers to an amazing 2024.